Can you be a minimalist and still love fashion? This is a great question, and I definitely think that it's possible to do this. So, the first component here is that your life is filled with so many more things than clothes. If you just think about your house or all of the things that you own, there are just so many more things than clothes. So, I do think it's okay if you really love clothes that you have a bit more clothes than you do, say, like skincare products. Maybe you choose that you love clothes and that you really want a wardrobe that speaks to you and that relates to you. And I think that's totally fine. But I do think there are some exceptions here. Like if your wardrobe is just a ton of clothes that don't mean anything to you and that you don't love or that don't truly represent you, then I think there is a problem here. And you could try to look into and really go through your wardrobe and pick things out that truly represent you and what you'd like to wear. I know there's a lot of items that just end up in our closets that we just never wear. And I think it's items like this that kind of make it feel like our closets are swallowing us or that we don't really have control of what we do have in our wardrobes and can often make it feel like we're over consuming in this area. I do consider fashion more of an art form where you can express yourself and who you are at that time and stage in your life. So I think that it should be a bit more revolving because if your closet is not evolving and changing, then I think it's almost like you're not evolving and changing. I think that they kind of have to work hand in hand. Of course, there's always going to be clothes that mean a lot to you or that were very memorable to you, say like your wedding dress. Maybe that's something that you'll always want to keep just because it just means so much to you. But the majority of clothes in your wardrobe, I think, will change over time, and what you're comfortable with wearing will change as well because you are growing as a person and changing. So, just refreshing this, I don't think is the issue. I think it becomes an issue when you will hold on to clothes that you don't necessarily want anymore just because you've had them or you had like one memory with them. Like, I think that's where the problem starts, and this is something that I definitely struggle with to an extent. I get really emotionally attached to some of my clothes and it makes it hard to let them go. And this is something that I am working through, and I try to do closet cleanouts and keep things refreshed. But it can definitely be difficult mentally to let clothes go. So, just to wrap up my point here, I think it is okay to have a more of a revolving closet where you are maybe consuming more clothes than you are with other aspects in your life. And I think that's okay as long as you're keeping your closet representing who you are now, or at least trying to evolve and push to different boundaries within your closet. And like I said, maybe clothes are that one thing that you're super passionate about, and the object that you do want to keep bringing into your life or having new things in your life. And I do think that's totally fine, especially if it's only like one or two things that you need to do this for. And I think you can stay closer to traditional minimalism with other components in your life. Like I used before, maybe skincare, maybe you just have one product and not 20, whatever it is that you're not super passionate about, but you just have like one or two of these and rely on that. Another huge thing that I think affects whether you can have a minimalistic lifestyle while loving fashion is if you thrift shop or not. I know this point can be a bit controversial, but I think like the whole premise of minimalism is not overindulging, getting more than what you should, like just wasting. I think that's a huge point behind minimalism, and it causes a lot of problems not only mentally but in the world. Like it's a big problem to always be consuming and wasting and getting new things. So I think by thrift shopping it actually kind of makes it just part of the cycle. So if a piece of clothing, you get a new piece of clothing and then it's donated and then you wear it for a bit, you donate again, it can be this whole cycle that kind of extends the lifespan of that item, and it makes it kind of more of like a recycle rather than just consuming throwing away, which I think a lot of other objects, that's the only way that it can be. So with clothes it's kind of interesting how you can, thrift shop, buy something that's already been out there, and then you can donate it again yourself. Like it's this whole cycle. And I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with thrift shopping, so if you're not comfortable with thrift shopping, at least donating your clothes after you're done wearing them, I think that it can be huge and help that cycle just move on and develop. And I'm not saying you can never get like new clothes, but just making sure that you are participating in that cycle and donating or giving your clothes to somebody else once you're done with them, like whatever it is, just continuing that cycle, I think just makes it feel a lot better and less like you're consuming and more like you're part of this flow. And then lastly, when I think of minimalism or what I thought of it before, is that you could only wear like when it came to fashion, that you could only wear like really muted, boring colors or boring outfits, or only having like a black shirt, a white shirt, a gray shirt. And personally, like I don't want a wardrobe like that. I'd like to have more color and personality in my wardrobe. So personally, I don't think that that should be a rule for minimalism within fashion. I think that just having a diverse wardrobe that you love, that you're constantly refreshing, that is kind of what minimalism is about. You can rotate. It doesn't have to be the same colors, because I think you're kind of getting boring at that point. And I think fashion, like I said before, is about art and expressing yourself. And by just wearing a gray shirt every day, I think that can really cut it down and make it, not really a form of art, but just like I'm just putting something on because I have to wear clothes. Like that doesn't sound very exciting to me, and I think can almost have a negative effect on people. So, just by constantly evolving your wardrobe and refreshing it and bringing new things into it, but also donating old things and continuing that cycle, I think it really helps give a more minimalistic viewpoint on fashion and clothes itself. For an industry that really is pinpointed for being wasteful, I think this is a good way around it to make yourself feel better about being part of the system. Like you're either thrifting or you're donating, whatever it is, you're contributing to the system that keeps going. And it's okay if you have new things in your wardrobe because they're new to you. And then once you're done with it, just letting it go into the world and just continuing that cycle, I think is the real foundation for how to be a fashion lover while also trying to be a minimalist. All right, well, that's everything that I have for you today. I hope this gave you some new perspective on how to think of minimalism and fashion. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.